everybody. Welcome to season 3 of the Double Stuff podcast, where we are
Awesome.
double the hosts, double the topics, double the fun. And I am Sarah.
And I'm Alan.
And I'm Dan.
I'm Charity.
And we're all together again for this season, which I'm really excited about.
Well, not all together.
Well, we are together in spirit.
That's
In
true.
spirit.
And
Someone took social distancing to the next level
Yeah.
in our group. I'm not going to mention any names, Dan.
Extreme social distancing.
yeah, well, we will talk about that in a future episode. We'll expose all shortly. But today we figure let's go ahead and talk about something that we all are possibly good at,
Mm-hmm.
or we know a lot about, and that is the arts, which is a very generic thing.
Oh, we can do this.
Yeah, totally. So I guess we can go around the room. Has anyone dabbled in the arts of some capacity?
Oh, yeah.
We'll start with you, Alan.
Okay. So I had a vision when I was a very young lad.
Ooh.
And it was very romantic. I was going to have a 2-floor sort of storefront apartment setup. So I was going to have the bottom as a walk-in gallery where I would show my paintings and sell my paintings. And then right above it would be where I would live. And it was going to be awesome. And that's how I envisioned.
And this wouldn't have been in the United States, because that sounds like
It was going to be in
Europe
Topeka,
In
Kansas.
Paris.
Topeka.
In Topeka, Kansas.
There's nothing
because
more
that's as
artistic.
big as my world was. when I was a wee lad.
Wow, I was waiting for you to say like France or England, but no. I mean, if you want to stay Midwest, then
Yeah.
you totally.
No.
What about you, Dan? Have you done anything in the artistic realm?
I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean by artistic realm. So
It's
if you're
very
talking about
generic, so whatever
drawing
you want
and
it to be.
painting, absolutely not. But I can barely get out a stick figure, let alone an actual like drawing. But writing. I mean, I've dabbled in like writing, and I've tried my hand at like comic book, sort of like sequential art, doodling. But no, not an artist. Not a visual artist.
I mean, like, when did you realize that you weren't? Did you actually try to try to make something out of clay or paint or pen and paper?
Yeah, so we had art classes in high school, obviously, and we had this teacher, and I mean, he was fine. He wasn't like that good or anything like that, but I mean, he was just a fine art teacher, and I just goofed around the whole time. I realized that I was just going to be a complete failure at any kind of art, so I was just like, no, I'm just going to mess around the whole time. So I never threw any clay, never really drew any pictures, barely got through coloring books. No, it's just not for me.
Well, see, you already made the mindset from the get-go that you're not going to be good at it. So
Failure mentality.
Yeah, so high school aside, in your modern day mind, you think you could probably dabble a bit?
No. And actually, you know what? I wish that we were a little closer, just because of that, because I could show you some of the terribleness. But no, I'm just a realist. I'm a realist. I know what I can do and I know what I can't do, and what I can't do is put down what I see in my head on a piece of paper.
This is why we need to do a video chat soon, because I want to see what type of masterpieces that you are referring to.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be the judge of whether this is a piece of art or not. But
I don't know if you actually do. Wait, so you know what? I think I have something right here. Okay, there you go. There you go. You can look at that right there, and you can see that's my stick figure drawing for a comic idea.
Yeah, you're gonna have to snapshot that. We're gonna have to
Terrible.
post that, man.
yeah, we'll have to post
Awful.
that.
That's still my idea.
As long as you're not
Look,
ashamed of what you drew.
I made little stick figures, right? And those are the heroes, okay? And then the little boxy ones with the horn, those are the villains.
That would totally pass. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Dave Pilkey?
I have not. No.
Okay, he's the one that did Captain Underpants and Dogman.
Okay, sure.
So I mean, it's been elevated, but if you look at his drawings, I mean, they're not like, they're just fun. I mean, they're fun. They're very impressionistic. They're not, and they're consistent. It's kind of like a who was the Peanuts? Was it Charles Schultz?
Oh, Charles Schultz.
Yeah.
So Charles Schultz. I mean, if you go back far enough, with his strips, they weren't like fantastic, but they
absolutely.
Yeah.
The simplicity was key. I mean, think about it, Dan. You might not think you're a good artist now, but I think you have the potential of doing, reviving Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Well, when
maybe
when
that's
he's
okay.
dead and gone, he'll be famous for.
Oh, that's a morbid thing to say.
Well, people become famous after they die.
That's true.
Okay.
You wonder about like the cave dwellers in Lascaux, France, and they're like painting people stick figures jumping over cows, and now they're in books. So damn, there's hope.
That is very true. Yeah.
It
So all we have
was
to do
meant
is
to be
wait
a
1,000 years.
compliment, and I didn't get a chance to finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I stomp on your compliment?
Well,
I
Dan,
apologize.
even though you're
I
still
apologize,
alive,
Charity.
you can be a successful artist. There, does that redeem
think so.
myself?
You said,
I think I could be known in just like this person, worst artist ever. I'll go
He
with that.
tried.
no,
He
he'll just
tried,
sign it.
exactly.
He'll sign it like everything and put like just Dan, the artist.
That's a nice tombstone.
Artist unknown.
Yeah. He'll go under the famous one of anonymous.
That's
right?
right.
There we
that's
go.
right.
That's exactly
This
right.
is Untitled 1 and Untitled 2 and Untitled 3.
But what about you, Charity, getting into the artistic realm?
I feel like I've done a little bit of everything from a young age to now. I've done like drawing, I've done watercolors, acrylics, I've done pottery a couple times, and then obviously, as we all know, the communication arts is a form of art. So, video production and stuff. I've helped out with like theater, like stage stuff. So that's takes some artistic talent. So I have sold 2 pieces of art in my life, so
Yes.
that's always nice to brag about. You can be an artist and do the whole starving artist thing, but then when you sell a piece, you kind of feel like, hey, I'm a real artist now. So that's always nice when you actually sell a piece.
Absolutely.
That
That's
is.
thrilling.
Yeah, me and Charity have had really similar experiences in the arts because we've both done a lot of theater, like she said, and little bits and pieces. Now I must admit I'm not the best painter. Charity and our other sister Christy, they're really good in the painting aspect. But I've always, which I haven't done yet, I've always wanted to throw pottery. I've always wanted to use a pottery wheel ever since I was like
Is that
5.
the phrase, throw pottery?
Yeah, you throw it onto the wheel and then you.
Oh, I was thinking
Throwing
like the
clay.
finished piece, and you just throw it against the wall and watch
No,
it
No,
break.
no.
that's called disgruntled.
I have never heard the term throw pottery before.
Yeah,
That's the
well-
Jackson Pollock style of pottery.
That's right.
That's basically throwing
How
it
do
while
I
it's
eat off this? Figure it out.
Figure it out. Well, now I must admit, like doing pottery plus, like actual sculpting. I've never done it using like clay or marble, but when me and Charity were little, we used to do that with Play-Doh,
Oh,
like
yeah.
all the time.
Oh, that's
Like
true.
most people use Play-Doh and just mix it all together, make some kind of garbled mess. But we would like make legit things. Like we were homeschooled for a year, which will explain a lot of things.
That was a
I'm
very
sure.
long year.
boy.
I got to tell you.
It was a long year. We'll talk about that in our psychological episode when we spill out our guts. But we had gotten a little collection of colorful Play-Doh, and we actually made I think I made like an ice skater skating around the ice rink, and
Why not? At one point, we had gotten the recipe to do the homemade clay,
the homemade clay.
where
yeah.
it tastes really
Oh,
salty. You're
yeah.
not supposed to eat it, but it's like
Gross.
flour and
Yeah.
cornstarch and like some
Yeah.
weird stuff.
and
Crumbles.
you
Yeah.
you're supposed to cook it. You cook it in the oven, kind of like
What?
So
yeah.
you make your figurine or whatever, and then you bake it, and then it stays stiff and hard. And after
Yeah.
that, you can paint
You paint
it and
Yeah, it's
shell
like a little homemade kiln.
Pretty much, yeah. I think our stuff actually did burn though, so not quite kiln like. I think it was under 475.
I was gonna
for
say,
3 to
yeah. I
5
mean, when you're in
minutes.
3rd grade, you have no idea of how much heat a small piece of clay needs. So we probably did burn a few things.
Yeah.
So
But
this is
in
like a Wichita specific thing. But have you ever heard of Make ICT?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, they have all sorts of that stuff down there that you can do, and they have like classes that'll teach you and everything like that. It's really neat.
Well, there's Mark Arts. There's
City Arts.
City Arts.
Little promotional
Oh, that's
name
true.
dropping here on the
Mhm.
show.
That's right.
I know City Arts is one of the few places they offer glass blowing,
Mhm.
which I don't know if you guys have ever tried glass blowing
That
before.
place out in Keachai.
Well,
is
I mean
that
Carg?
that's an actual place, Carg, yeah. But at City Arts, they actually teach you how to do it.
But I thought you went down there to do it.
No. On the top floor of City Arts is where they have all the ovens and all the equipment and stuff. So
Okay,
they
I've never
actually-
taken a class on the top
Now, I
floor.
will say the best time to take that class is in the winter time because it's so hot up there.
Yeah, it's too hot to,
Um,
to do
and-
that now.
I did learn that for a glass so it all starts off as in
It
the
looks like sand.
well no I'm talking about like in the cauldron or
Oh, okay.
so there's the cauldron that you dip to get
Mhm.
your glass going,
Yeah.
and that has to stay at 2,000 degrees constantly.
That's why it's so
Wow,
dreaded hot up there.
that's
Like it
wild.
always has to be so hot.
Yeah.
But I would enjoy glass blowing, but let's see, the downside is that you have to blow for glass blowing, and that involves using your mouth on a long stick, and there's multiple people using the same stick, right? And that was the only issue I had because I'm like, I don't want to put my mouth on the
But
same
see,
thing.
now when they teach the class or whenever the next
Yeah, I'm
time they
sure they
teach
do.
it, they'll probably have
I
some sort of
Yeah, that's
cleaning,
true.
or they'll have
Yeah,
to have more
well,
than one tube.
they clean it anyway after the end of the class, but everybody's put their mouth on it.
It's just a funny thing that I never really thought of, like, when I was younger, and this has nothing to do with art, it's sort of like a tangent from that, but, like, you ever heard of, like, hookahs?
Yeah.
They're,
Yes,
like,
yeah.
for yeah, like, flavored tobacco or whatever.
Water pipes.
Yeah, we used to hang out at a friend's house with just people, and we would just pass along, like, the same host.
Yeah.
Never even thought about that, this didn't occur to me that that would even be a problem. Germs? What's that?
Yeah.
I told Cherry this one story. This happened in uh junior high, so yeah, 7th grade. I don't know what brought this on. We were all sitting, I think it was in history class, because why would you do this history class? Someone had a sucker, a lollipop or something, and I don't know whose bright idea this was, but and there was about what 25 of us in the class, and everybody was sitting in their desks, and they just passed the sucker along. Everybody took a lick.
That's not art.
No, that's not art. No, that's just
We definitely went on a tangent there.
yeah, that's just called germs. I was the only one that didn't lick the sucker. Everybody was like, Sarah, what's wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. And now I think about it now, I'm like,
But
well,
see, that sucker could probably be considered modern art. Like if you framed it or put it on a canvas or something, that could
Yeah.
represent the germs of 2020.
That's true.
Yeah.
You,
This is
you could
oh,
probably analyze that
The
into
Corona canvas, the sucker.
I'm rubbing my
Corona
head because I
pop.
cannot
But I think
stand modern art.
that's well
Oh yeah,
that's how it but going from like what you were talking about, Charity, I mean just how expansive the art world
it's
Yeah.
is.
very subjective.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
subjective too, but I mean just how many areas it covers. Let me give you an example. Like my wife, who's an art teacher for USD 259 Wichita, starting this fall, she had to take a test, what's called a praxis test, and it's for art. And so you think, okay, it's for art. It covers ceramics, it covers architecture, it covers music, it covers photography, film,
Mm-hmm.
anything that, and then you're like, oh, because I mean, when you think of art, you're like, okay, somebody that paints, but
Painter in the
it
studio.
goes everything. And
Yeah.
one of the things that she and I always talk about is, when people, I'm not very good at art, but art is in everything. It takes a designer to design something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's in the table that we're using, in the chairs that we're sitting on, in the microphones that,
Someone
it's-
had to design it. Right.
someone had to
Mhm.
design it. Yeah. And depending on like what you were talking about with the sucker idea, if you look at it like that, I mean, everything is a created piece of art.
Mm-hmm. Was that earlier this year? Like that banana.
Oh yeah, last
at the
year.
art, was that last year at the museum or whatever? Someone had a banana that was
And
an
they
art
and
piece.
they just duct taped it onto a white wall.
Yeah, like
And
that would
people were
basically be
analyzing it?
the sucker. Like
Oh, it was
an expensive piece of art.
it was worth, I don't remember the number, but it was definitely hundreds
Was
of
that piece
thousands of
called
dollars.
pretentious?
Yeah. No.
Pretty much,
kidding.
yeah, pretensions and peeling. That's
Yeah.
probably what that
Yeah.
was. But
Yeah.
that kind of goes to what you were saying, Dan, because you say you're not a big fan of what's considered modern art.
Yeah, or postmodern art or whatever you want to call it.
Definitely
Just that stuff that's
postmodern
like,
art.
I mean, we went to it's called Crystal Lakes in Arkansas. It's like an art museum down there in Bentonville, and they had some interesting pieces. My wife and I enjoy going to art museums and looking at pieces of art and stuff like that. But one of them was just like a giant 10-foot canvas that was just painted one shade of blue, and it was
Yeah.
hanging up there, and I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, that sounds like it's
Whatever.
postmodern. Postmodern is a critique on what we call art. I mean,
Yeah.
and breaking it down to what it would be. I don't know.
See, I love going to museums, much to the chagrin of both of my sisters,
Well,
because
that's good.
I don't mind a museum, but like a museum to me is something that you visit over and over again. Like, you don't have to take in every exhibit.
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
Walk every hall.
yeah, like Sarah will sit there and read the plaque and push the button to watch the video and open the flap to see and she'll get the brochures and stuff. I'm like, we've been here for an hour and she's only seen two, displays. I'm like, we have 4 floors of this museum in a
And we
couple
haven't
hours.
even
We got to
gotten
get
to the
through it.
snack, the
Yeah.
snack gallery.
Sarah, I'm with you. I like doing the same thing though. I like looking at all the stuff, reading the
Taking your
details on
time.
it.
Mhm.
Well, because ever since I was a kid, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to ever reach this, but I've always wanted to be kind of like what Alan was saying. You're just kind of standing there, looking very thoughtfully, and it's like, oh, yeah, well, I can see the anguish that the artist was going through. That's why he painted purple and yellow, right?
Mhm.
Because purple means anguish and yellow means more anguish. And when you put the two together, you get brown anguish, so. So
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, that sounds like an accurate description, though.
so it's like I've always wanted to be that kind of person that would be like, oh, it spoke to me somehow,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm speaking to you. Let's hurry up and get through the display.
Yeah.
We have a 4-floor museum and we've seen two, things
Oh,
here.
but yeah, but that kind of leads like talking about going to museums. Have you guys gone to like operas or something like that, like something that's kind of hoity-toity but it's still kind of artsy?
Yeah, yeah. I've been to. I love music theater. Really like music theater. We've done a couple of anniversaries. I took my wife to Guys and Dolls and
Oh,
just
that's
Wow.
fun. That's a
fun
fun
stuff
one.
like that. But as far as like high art, like an opera, no, I don't care for it. I've tried,
Yeah.
but I go to be entertained, especially if I'm going to be dropping that kind of cash. I want to
You
have
want to
some.
understand what they're
I
saying?
want to understand what they're saying. I want to have some laughs. I want to have a good time, and then I want to talk about it afterwards. And
Be like, wow, that A flat, huh?
yeah, exactly, exactly.
We a few years ago we went to at the Orpheum, the Moscow Ballet did the Nutcracker
Oh,
at
I've
Christmas time.
always wanted to see the Nutcracker.
And I was kind of the same. Like I was going into it, and I was like, I'm interested in this because I know it's very cultural, and like it's
hmm
supposed to be like this kind of high art thing. And when it first started out, I was like, oh, this is weird. Like I'm not really following this. But I don't know, probably a third of the way through it or so, I did start kind of. It was visual storytelling. It was like very
Right.
pure visual storytelling with no and auditory too, but not like dialogue. And yeah, I really got. I mean, I got pretty into it. So
That's interesting because I have the exact. We haven't done it for the past couple of Christmases, but we had a tradition of doing the Nutcracker. And when we started, because my wife really enjoys the Nutcracker, and I do too now, but at the start of it, I didn't. I didn't care for the Nutcracker at all. I
Mm.
thought it was a fun holiday tradition, but it wasn't until like my daughters got into dance and I'd spent more time actually watching dancers and appreciating dancers. And then the last few times that we've gone to the Nutcracker, it's been pretty enjoyable. But yeah, if you don't have any sort of touch on that in your own life, it can be very I don't know, you just disconnected with other people saying, how can you not appreciate this? Well, it's if it's not a part of your
Yeah.
everyday life and
Yeah.
it doesn't touch you, then you're like, well, obviously I don't care about it. There's way too many things to care about.
yeah,
Well, I've been
absolutely.
to a ballet, and I think now I haven't seen the Nutcracker, and so I'm assuming that's a lot better because you have the different costumes and the different sets and scenes and lights and stuff. I'm not sure what ballet it was that I saw, but it was basically just people dancing, and after a while, it all looked the same. And so I know that it takes a lot of work to be a dancer,
Yes.
ballerina, whatever, and so I appreciate the work that went into it. But I guess as far as storytelling, because I didn't know what story they were telling, all of their moves looked the same
Yeah.
and I didn't understand the characters and stuff. But I mean,
Sure.
I can at least say that I appreciate the work it goes to and not only dancing but the production of it. But I went to ballet and I didn't really have a good time. Now I personally I like the symphony. That's one of my favorite
Yes.
things.
Oh, I love the symphony.
I remember going in elementary school as a field trip, and we grew up in Indiana, and Indiana had a very nice symphony. And
Yes, they
the
did.
symphony, it's either you love it or you hate it. And especially as a kid, you kind of get antsy. And you said, I was mesmerized, and I was like, guys, shut up! The violins are playing. Like,
Oh yeah.
symphony was my thing. I look forward to that every year.
But that
And
makes
that was
sense.
like one of my favorite things to do here, which is why I'm
Sure.
sad that COVID kind of ruined a lot of the concerts and stuff, because I
Right.
love our symphony. I think we have a very good group here in
But
Wichita.
as you as a violinist and playing instruments, do you just play the one, or do you,
I did French horn in
Okay.
middle school,
middle
and I
school,
did
high
that through high
really?
school.
I did French
wasn't
horn too.
Really?
Yes.
it's a fun one. I was never really good at it. I started playing violin sort of later in life, and unfortunately I had to give it up just because at one point I was working up to 5 jobs and I couldn't practice. But
Yeah.
I would like to get back to it because I do love the violin and the whole string section. But I can appreciate that as
Well,
you were
and that
saying.
makes sense
Yeah.
because it's a part of your
Right.
life.
Yeah,
You-
I used to play trumpet in
All
high
brass instrument players, then, huh?
school. Did you play something, Dan?
Clarinet
I
and then
think trumpet.
saxophone. Oh, was a
Oh,
woodwind.
he's a
Clarinet.
woodwind.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm I'm
Dan just has
actually-
to stand out from the group.
Yeah.
just Dan with a reed. That's what we need. Well, in that case, I hope there's some pictures of you with you playing an instrument, because I would love to see that.
Hey, I was awesome. I was third chair saxophone player.
Was there
Oh.
only 3?
3 saxophone players.
Yeah. I was first chair French hornist.
You were
See,
the
same
only-
There was
here.
only
First chair French
one
horn.
French horn.
Yep.
And I was
Yeah,
a distant
after
third chair.
Jamie left, after she graduated, I was first chair for about 4 years.
I enjoyed playing trumpet. That was the only thing I thought I was good at. I had wanted to do percussion, but the school that we went to gave some kind of BS excuse saying, well, one, girls didn't play drums, and then second was that you had to know how to play piano to play drums. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they told me.
Maybe
And
just
since I
to
didn't know how to
keep a
play-
beat or something. I don't know.
I mean,
Have you seen sheet music for percussion? Like,
Yeah.
I could play that.
I could totally play.
I
that.
think it's hard because you got to, well, at least in a symphony, because how long do you have to wait? Like how you have to pay so much attention for your one clash of the cymbal.
Okay.
Whenever I'm going to like school performances with like the kids, and then we're talking about like 4th and 5th grade like band here. And you get the guy and he's waiting for his cymbal crash and oh, I missed my beat, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Crash, and it's totally
one
out of
job.
time, but it's fun.
What's funny is that after a while, if you practice the song enough,
Yeah.
at least with me, I stopped counting because I knew the song enough that I didn't have to count,
Yeah.
which is probably terrible as a musician. But you practice the song so many times, you're like, okay, I come in on this part.
on this part.
Yeah, because you could tell by the music, if it crescendos, it's like, okay, here it comes.
Here it
Yeah.
comes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like anything, just with practice and doing it however many hundreds of times, you'll get good at it. But really quick though, since we did talk about dancing, I wanted to bring that around because I wanted to brag to the fact that I tap dance.
Well, we did a Just Us Cookies video
Yes, you did.
recently
Yeah,
where you were
that's-
trying to teach me how to tap dance, and I failed.
Yeah, that wasn't my best dancing, but it
It
showed
wasn't
that
my best dancing either.
That's because you don't dance.
Not tap dance. I can swing dance. I love swing dancing.
See, I can only do tap because in a previous episode we were talking about how introverted and extroverted we are and eye contact. There's so many dancing that you have to look right in the eye of your partner, and I can't do that.
Okay,
yet.
we're not
So
talking Dirty Dancing, Patrick Swayze.
No. I'm just saying.
Nobody
if you're-
puts third in the corner.
Oh my gosh, no! Because
I wonder if that's possible. You can dirty dance tap dancing.
I'm sure
I'd
it's
watch
been
that.
okay, that's becoming a catchphrase with Alan. It sounds the least.
And then you get to the end of the scene, and it's just like you hear like, and then she jumps, and then just silence.
Is it
love
because
it.
I do my freeze frame? I just gotta stay in that spot.
That's right. As the French horn blast.
Pardon me.
Oh my gosh.
We put on the worst show ever. Like Sarah, the tap dancing trumpet playing with the 2 French horns and a partial saxophone player.
Partial saxophone?
chair.
He's
right.
third
No,
chair.
right.
Sorry, the 3rd chair saxophone.
Sarah just demoted you. She said you don't even have your instrument put
He
together.
doesn't even have a chair, he just sit on the floor.
Accurate. Let's just say that. It was an accurate way of describing it.
So we put
We
on
need
the
a
show.
stick figure comic of that.
There
Put
you
that
go.
together, Dan.
There you go. Get on it, Dan.
Oh
That's
my
your
goodness.
I'll make
project.
a
No,
stick
please.
figure Duke Silver.
Actually, no, seriously, legit, please do that because I can make that the graphic for our next our episode. Be like, this masterpiece was devised by just Dan.
It'll have to be a stick
in
figure
stick figure
saxophone,
mode.
though. It'll have to be a stick figure holding a stick saxophone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I can make is a backwards J.
Why did you say it backwards, Jay? That's weird to say.
I like it. I like it.
Oh my gosh, this is so great! I can't. This is going to be some gallery.
Yeah, next
stuff.
to our Corona canvas sucker painting,
Yeah.
next to the banana and the duct tape.
Exactly right.
We've got our gallery going. Alan, you can open your gallery in Topeka now.
We could.
Oh my gosh, we
In
totally
Topeka,
could.
Kansas,
We've got
the
3
grand
pieces
opening.
of art.
That's true. We can't let our dreams just sit here like
right.
that. Let's get this going.
That's
Dreams do
right.
come
Grand
true on the Double Stuff podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, on that Walt Disney type ending, this will be a great way to conclude our episode of the arts. We'll definitely have to talk about this more because this is definitely a rabbit hole that we could totally fall into, and we
As
already
the
have
arts are.
already. Yeah. So, but if you guys have any interest in the arts, and please let us know. Do you draw? Do you dance? Do you sing?
Do you lick suckers and put them on canvases?
That's true. Yes. If you're that unique, then you're definitely one of us. But yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Looking forward to doing some more in this season. Thanks for listening to today's episode. You can find other episodes at doublestuffpod.com or on your favorite podcast apps. You can also join the fun on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Double Stuff Podcast and on Twitter at Double Stuff P. That's the letter P.